Nestled alongside the stunning St. Lawrence River, Quebec City, Canada is a modern city that embraces its past.
Bienvenue en Nouvelle-France.
From its French-speaking natives and charming cobblestone streets to these panoramic views from Dufferin Terrace, it's different here.
It's European without getting on a plane.
So let the funicular begin as Chronicle explores La Ville de Quebec.
This is Chronicle on WCVB Channel 5.
Head north through Vermont and you'll soon discover the place where New England ends and New France began.
Well, Quebec City is a live museum, actually.
Marc Duchesne has spent the last 30 years exploring this stunning city, the capital of the province of Quebec, first as a tour guide and later as the founder of Cicerone Tours.
On a trip to Boston, I noticed those guides from the colonial time period there. So I looked at that and I figured it would be so nice to have that in Quebec City. And now it became our trademark to do the costume thing.
Bonjour!
Bonjour, madame. Welcome to the Fairmont Le Château Frontenac.
Our journey starts appropriately at the place most often associated with Old Quebec City. It's one of the most iconic and photographed hotels in the world, the Fairmont Le Château de Frontenac.
My name is Bruce Price, architect of the hotel. Let me take you on a tour.
Spectacular job! This grand structure first opened in 1893 when the actual Bruce Price, the inspiration for our Cicerone guide on this tour, completed what would become a Canadian national treasure and his signature work. So the hotel had a grand inspiration.
Absolutely. The CP Railway Company wanted their hotels to look like castles. This one, in part, was inspired by the Château de Versailles.
A location this grand is bound to attract a few famous guests.
Winston Churchill came here with Franklin Delano Roosevelt, American president. Hollywood movie stars like Steven Spielberg, Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I think I saw Bond, James Bond.
James Bond, the one and only.
When Hollywood royalty became actual royalty, the world fell in love with Princess Grace de Monaco.
Grace Kelly, my goodness.
If you're looking for the royal treatment, you can stay in this suite that bears her name.
And when was she here?
She was here for the Winter Carnival in 1969. She was a guest of honor.
The suite includes personal items on loan from her estate, and this, her actual winter throne. I'm definitely posting this. On a walk through the upper town in Old Quebec City, French influence is everywhere, from the street performers to the street signs, even the pastries.
It's delicious.
To understand why, we take a trip down the Escalier Cascou, or breakneck stairs, to Lower Town.
It is about 95% Francophone. The Anglophone population is tiny.
Where we meet Laval University professor of history, Donald Fison.
So Champlain ends up setting up shop here in 1608, and he chooses it because this is where the river narrows. So he can basically control the access to the interior, which is where a lot of the rich furs come from.
French explorer Samuel de Champlain is credited with consolidating the French colonies in the New World. And what better place to do that than from a cliff high above a valuable waterway?
They put walls around it eventually, and by the 1740s, it's a fully fortified city.
Sometimes lost to history is the fact that what Champlain settled for France was not uninhabited land.
The first people really came, what, thousands of years ago?
There have been indigenous people in the Quebec City area for at least 8,000 years.
Those original tribes have been largely scattered, destroyed, or absorbed into neighboring tribes, but their bloodlines and heritage are being preserved here, just outside of Quebec City at Wendake.
Wendake is an indigenous reservation in Canada. The Wendat Nation are amongst the first people to welcome Europeans.
Dominique Sainte-Marie works with Wendake.
It's sometimes told as a sort of mythical time in the past where settlers and indigenous people understood one another and were living well. And that's simply not the case, sadly. There was no time when we were getting along perfectly.
So tell me again how kind of large the exhibit is.
So it's 1.2 kilometer.
As night falls, I'm invited to step into the light of a stunningly beautiful interactive exhibition called Onwa Lumina.
How would you describe this experience?
I would describe it as a sort of interactive trail. What we try to show is basically our culture, but to truly feel it, you have to really see it in its many manifestations.
A truly immersive introduction to this dynamic native culture.
Well, I'm glad that we're looking back at the past so that we can know the proper way to heal. We need to do better.
And back to Bruce Price, the actual designer of the Fairmont Chateau Le Frontenac. He was an American, as it turned out, and spent a lot of time building a lot of homes throughout the Northeast, including the home of Daniel Wesson of Smith & Wesson, the firearms manufacturer.
Very interesting. And the K-drama Goblin, which turned the Frontenac lobby mailbox into a tourist attraction, just dropped their season 2 trailer. It's set to stream in 2025.
Seems very popular. Coming up, a magical and historical escape.